Brian Fritz here with Samoa Joe, who will be taking on Finn Balor for the NXT Heavyweight Championship coming up on Friday night, NXT TakeOver Dallas. So I know it's kind of tough to kind of rank everything, but this is a huge match. So where does this kind of rank when it comes to your career?
Number one. Yeah. It's a huge opportunity, man, on a really, really big stage. So yeah, man, I'm enthused with it, man. I'm really stoked.
So what's it like for you now when it comes to NXT? Because NXT was kind of already on its way as this special brand.
Yeah.
And then they add you, and a couple other guys that come through there now, and it's gone to a whole nother level. So what's it been like for you to step into it and see it continue to grow the way that it has?
It's both a very unique experience and kind of a surreal one, because it's coming into NXT, I was brought here to kind of add momentum to a brand that was already kind of snowballing and like an avalanche, and just kind of growing kind of beyond the expectations of even WWE, let alone the fans. And being here and being part of this really, really unique and insane revolution as far as what you see in the WWE universe is it's been an awesome experience, man. And it's been I'll admit it's been a bit rejuvenating for me, because I get to work with a lot of younger but super impassioned people who are really, really trying to change the face of the industry. And to be around that, it gets your motor running, man.
Yeah, not that you were ever bad or anything by that stretch of the imagination, but there were some years there where people were kind of wondering where your career was going. Did you ever lose any of your passion or kind of wonder about what is next for me?
It's funny. I was asked this kind of earlier in some things, and it was never about a loss of passion, but I could definitely feel at points in different places. I was kind of stifled, and it was more of a symptom of a larger issue, and even though you're always responsible for what happens once you get between the ropes outside the ring, sometimes you just can't storm up the mountain when the mountain's made of gravel, man. And that was kind of what I was kind of faced with, but at the same time, I think various wrestlers throughout their career have had those times, and it makes you appreciate the good times like now.
Yeah. Considering where you worked previously, were you ever worried, or did you ever think you'd have an opportunity to work with NXT?
One of the biggest kind of mantras that I've always kind of kept is, if you're going to bet on anything, bet on yourself. And I was fairly confident that no matter what I decided to do or where I decided to go, I'd be okay. And it was kind of a weird, like, a bunch of circumstances that happened, but the timing was right and everything kind of hit at the right time, and I found myself here.
So what was it like? So this time last year, I remember going to Jim Ross's stand-up show.
Yeah.
And here comes Samoa Joe, who gets the biggest pop of the night. People chanting
Huge.
for you.
Yeah.
And your
kid set himself on fire. It was crazy.
And you are sitting there, probably the wheels are spinning, going, I know what's next for me, but I can't tell any of you.
Even at that point, it's funny. Even at that point, there was talk, but nothing was in the bag. And it's a lot of people. Oh, you knew like the whole time, and I'm like, trust me, it was very much an 11th hour deal. Right. And when I did work it out with Hunter, and we kind of figured out, what we wanted to do and how we wanted to approach it. Everything kind of came together awesomely, and I've enjoyed my almost first year here tremendously.
It's funny because I think even Jim Ross thought like it's done deal, because he was like, this guy's going to be on WrestleMania next year.
Jim Ross is great, man. Jim Ross. They'd be fools if they didn't hire you. He was tearing into him. But having those kind of endorsements in Austin and Foley, who's always championed for me for years, and several other people within and without the WWE, it was very, very humbling for me to see that my work was appreciated by so many people.
Yeah, and you talked about speaking with Hunter, and he brought you in. What was it like talking to him and finding out what a fan he was of you, and knew what he knew about you already?
He didn't really know much about me. He just was sick of everybody, burning up his ear every week, saying, "Hey, man, he's out in the wild, man. We should snag him. We should snag him." No, but it was funny. he understands. He understood what I brought to the table. And he understood what I could help do with NXT. And he's a smart man, and he was not hesitant at all to offer me an opportunity, and I was more than happy to jump on it.
So were you concerned that when you came to NXT, you were no longer going to be Samoa Joe?
No, not really.
I was wondering if you were already started thinking about alternative names.
Yeah, and everybody else out there already was. I saw a few, and I'm just like, oh, great.
Joe the Samoan.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I was never concerned with that. I have a really good lawyer, and I pay for my trademark, so that was all taken care of. And they were adamant that they understood what I brought to the company as a brand and myself, and it was never really an issue ever.
And that night that you debuted in NXT, what's that like for you from a standpoint? You're going to a new place, and I'm sure you're probably wondering, okay, what's the reception going to be like? How is people still going to know who I am if I come to this? It's an intimate place in Full Sail. It's in Orlando, a place that you've been before, but you're always probably wondering, like, okay, what's going to happen here?
I mean, yeah, there's a bit of wonderment, but at the same time, I understand, the relationship that I've built with fans for, upwards of 16 years. So, I mean, I think I was more concerned with pulling a Shockmaster and tripping through the curtain than I was what reception I was going to get.
Yeah, you don't want to pull a Shockmaster. Yeah. That would not be good. So, but I mean, since you've been here, I mean, you made such an impact too. And I think one of the things that people appreciate about NXT and your work so far is just kind of the simplicity and kind of the old school factor when it comes to feuding with Sami Zayn and now with Finn Balor. What's that like for you as a performer?
It's great, man. I think sometimes the simplest expressions of violence are the most strong and poignant ones. So, God, Lord knows they have been in my life. So I mean, yeah, it's always been kind of the philosophy behind what I do in the ring, and the quickest way from point A to point B is a punch in the face. So I've kind of kept that up throughout my career, and it's worked well for me, and I think the fans have been receptive to it. So I don't know if I'm going to change it much.
Do you feel like you're a different performer since you've been at NXT, or at least after the first year there?
Yeah, but I mean, I felt I've been a different performer every year of my career. I mean, every year kind of brings its own set of evolutions and kind of new ideas about how to do what I do in the ring. And yeah, it's I don't want to say that NXT was a catalyst for major change, but it was definitely like I said, being around a lot of the younger guys, it definitely energized me, because you see all this energy, and you see guys that are really trying to make their mark in the world, and to be around that, you can't help but kind of be supercharged with it. Considering
your experience, do you find that with NXT that there's a lot of people coming up to you and trying to pick your brain on different things?
Yeah, at times, and I'm hyper appreciative of it. It's really cool. Every so often, they'll just kind of pick my brain or ask me about certain things, whether it be from techniques to how they do things in the ring, or even walking through the curtain. And I'm more than willing to offer up my suggestions. I always leave it with the disclaimer. Trust me, if I had all the answers, I'd hand you the pamphlet and you could go be a superstar immediately. But I think part of kind of evolving in wrestling and being good at what we do is to really take on all aspects of every experience that you have, and kind of incorporating what's good, and cutting away cutting away the chaff. And if I can help guys do that, then awesome.
You have such a background too, like with various MMA training. I'm glad that your submission finisher's finally getting over, and they're using it a lot in the UFC.
Finally, please, it's been over, kid.
But I mean, they're taking from you now, because I just saw Miesha Tate. She won the women's championship by being Holly Holm. Conor McGregor losing the Nick
great
Diaz.
Finishes, guys. I'm telling you.
They're watching a lot of NXT. They're watching Samoa Joe matches.
Yeah, man. It's funny. And really, when you think about it, the sleeper hold, because it's not a choke, because chokes are illegal. It was a me coming from a judo background and working with a lot of martial artists throughout my career, my life. Understanding being choked out a few times here and there, and understanding the absolute horror that it can induce, and now with the fans kind of understanding, and getting more and more into mixed martial arts and martial arts in general, and understanding the dangers of it. It's been awesome to kind of bring back the sleeper from from the dead and reincorporated into the modern wrestling lexicon.
So obviously you are a huge part of NXT. You've got this big show coming up on Friday with TakeOver. Do you still expect to go to the WWE roster, or would you be happy just staying in NXT?
Time will tell. Stay tuned. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Let surprises be surprises. Let fun be fun.
We'll go along for the ride.
Yeah,
That's what wrestling is supposed to be about.
absolutely.
Joe, thanks for the time. I always appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, man.